last week one of the jobs was a York. No, it wasn't. That's the next job we're going to do, which is box number 25, I think. That'll probably be tomorrow. One of the jobs last week was a Harrier CBX, and to help me repair the Harrier CBX, which had got a duff receive light, and we're trying to get the brightness correct with a replacement bulb, we used a set off my shelf. And I said I'd do my Harrier CBX. So I will do. It's actually got a side bracket, and it's actually got side screws, and it's actually got fluff on it. So we're going to have a look at this. Mark has already tested it, and he has put a sticker on it in red, and that means that it doesn't work. So when we get stickers on them, if it's amber, it kind of works, but it's going to need servicing, and if it has a red sticker, it doesn't work. Now we have a short bit of power lead here. We'll put Mr. Chippy's crocodile clip over my bench light. So we did the Midland 77-810 yesterday, didn't we? The emergency set. So this is totally unknown. If I bothered to look at my computer, it would tell me where this came from. It's clearly had a bash, because look, it's all in at the back. But apart from that, it's in nice condition. You know, it's going to clean up quite well. I may even put it through the dishwasher, especially seeing as it's mine. So I think we'll stop taking screws out at this point. We're going to end up I think we'll carry on taking screws out, because with it being an unknown to me, I don't want to power it up if there's something lurking inside. But we're not going to touch it. If it looks safe to power up, we will do. Considering these are 40 years old, still got the remains of the seals on. I think job 26 is a Midland base station, the big 76-900, but it's had the kiss of death, so we've got to see whether we're going to be able to resurrect it. So far so good. I'll keep that handy because it's useful to put the bottom on when tuning. I'm hoping it hasn't had anything silly done to it. You know what, that actually looks beautiful. Good. Apart from being bashed in at the back. There's a little less bashed in now. Right, so we've got that connected. We'll switch the power supply on. We'll start it off low, 9 volts at 300 milliamps, just to make sure the set isn't going to do anything stupid. Well, it's powered up. Let's go through some of these controls. We want that off, we want that to high, that to CB, we'll have that to high, and we'll take all these silly green pointers off. There we go. Right, we'll repower it at full voltage. There we go, 13.8 volts. And it's drawing 280 milliamps, so that sounds fine. Now we need to find a microphone, and if I look up here, we are going to have our Cybernet test mic. Not that one, but that one. This will have been bought off eBay. Noisy volume control slightly. So, piece of paper at the handy. Harrier CBX. I'll put T21 so we know it's mine. Transmit. Let's go for picture in picture. So we'll start on the 3-watt scale. And you know what? I've not got the test instrument plugged in, so I just transmitted with no load. Glad they don't do that with customer sets. So it's doing 2.9 watts. Probably about what it did when it came out of the factory. Nothing changes, does it? They're still the same. Deviation. Wallow. TX deviation 2.7 kilohertz. That needs to come down. Frequency, test set's only just been put on, so we'll take this with a pinch of salt for another 20 minutes. You know what? I've not got the right meter on, have I? Okay, let's do that again. The transmit power, nearly full scale diffraction is 2.9. Deviation, there's our 2.5. Wallow, it's about 2.7. And then frequency, .79, little low. Tell you what, we'll do that right now, and then we'll come back to it. Well, I'll probably come back to it after I've finished. Well, he's actually done it. Receive. So we've got 277912.6-ish on the signal generator. Let's go to the cyanide meter and switch it on. There's our 12 dB mark. .42 microvolts for 12 dB cyanide. Well, that's nice, isn't it? We're going to compare these figures with the customer's one from last week, because the customer said something to that effect. So I just hope his is better than mine. I honestly do. But this is so immaculate. Mind you, I've probably had it since 2010, so it's been sat on the shelf here 12 years. That's 12 years of hard slog it hasn't had to do. So we'll start, as ever, on these with the VCO. Subject to finding my multimeter. And there's the instruction books which we dug out last week for the same set. Right, I'll take picture in picture off. Nothing to see here. Change his glasses. Put soldering iron on because we're bound to have to do some of those cores. I knew there was the green lead was needed for something. It's the earth. So these are a floating chassis, meaning it's neither positive or negative. So that point there is our negative. So select channel 40. Test point 1 is resistor 4, far side. It says that we should have 4 volts plus or minus 0.1 on receive. And if we haven't, we would rotate that coil, but look at that, 3.99. Haven't I got a good set? Now then, going to transmit. Check if you've got 4 volts, plus or minus 0.1. I think we're going to have to fiddle with that one. We wouldn't really have to, I'm only doing it for the video. Just the trimmer. Let go. 3.99 on receive. 3.92 when it stabilises on transmit. Well, that's alright, folks. Then we go to channel 1 and in transmit. Remind myself where it's supposed to be. 1.8 to 2.5. And on receive 1.9 to 2.5. There we go. Let's put Mr. Chippy's crocodile clip lead back and turn the little 1699 multimeter on. Going to channel 20 and not being a silly what's it and leaving it on channel 1. See whether we can get a few more what's it's out. So living in the 3 watt scale, that was already at peak. That was already at peak. That was already at peak. So let's cross our fingers and hope that these cores aren't broken. Turns out Knights at Curtin and Lindsay still sell these cores. They're 150 each or something like that. So maximum, yes. I will change scales. So that brings us to 3.9 watts maximum. Do you know what? I don't think this has ever been fiddled with apart from the deviation. So we've got 4.2. It's better if it's 4.4 for the setup procedure. Although I've had it in transmit for a few minutes and it will drop down. So we need to rotate 4L4 for 4.4 watts. Well, we can't. We're going to be rotating that clockwise. What we're going to do is we'll rotate it till it just starts to move downwards. And anti-clockwise, you're supposed to adjust L9 until you get 3.8 watts. But of course we're going to have 4 watts because we're entitled to it. So anti-clockwise till we get 4 watts. And hopefully it's balanced enough to do channel 1 and channel 40 somewhere like. So here's channel 1. 4 on the dot, channel 40, 3.98 or so. You know, it's so close. That is just not quite the 4, but you know, there we are. Fantastic. But it's ideal if you can get 4.4 watts out, and then you can turn it down as the service manual says, but not on this particular one. Yeah, we're at 3.8. I'll just see what the current is. 1.15 amps. Okay. So the meter now needs to read 4 watts. You know what? It's not far off. Meter adjustment is there. There we go. Deviation. No, we'll do low power next. Low power isn't working. Now, it's quite often that these are dirty. Sometimes they're open circuit. This could be our first repair. So I'm going to waggle that around, having put the service dial on. It's not easy to adjust. It's seen better days, but there's 350 milliwatts, so that's okay. It's supposed to be 400 milliwatts. Back to high power, and it's time to do the deviation. So I want this one to be in its central position. They get fiddled with. You've kind of got a feedback circuit, and then you've got the deviation. So not quite sure what they were thinking of, but anyway, let's see where we are now, having adjusted that one. Whoa, 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 whoa. Now we'll turn it down on the other, and I'll use the Korg chromatic tuner, which has changed note. Why has that happened? It needs to be because the battery's flashing flat. That's what we want. It's B flat. I think that needs new batteries, but as you see, we've got far too high. We'll just drop that down. Let's try it there. Voila, it's still a bit high. Voila, spot on now. So that's now 2.2 to 2.7. We've got 4 watts there. We've got 2.2 to 2.5 kilohertz. Let's see where the frequency is now. It's still about where it should be, 27.79126. So now we'll go to work on the receiver. We'll put the oscilloscope on. We'll go over to that. Switch the bench light off so you can see it. And on the signal generator, put 100 microvolts of level. I'll advance the volume till we get a decent trace. And I'll put that expensive trimming tool back. So with the detector, see if it's in the right position. You know what? It was spot on. Spot on the right position. In fact, I can use the more precision one. Beautiful. Bench light back on, oscilloscope off, save myself 18 watts. And we'll go to the cyanide meter. So we're going to turn the attenuator down until we get 4 dB. So I'm basically on the coarse range of 1 microvolt. We'll just turn down the fine attenuator till we get about 4 dB. Go through the front end. I doubt we'll actually get anything more out of it. The biggest signal on for this one. No, we'll put a smaller signal on for this one. Biggest signal on for this one. And then the hiding one. You know, fun sometimes you get a setting which has really been screwdrivered, and it's fun when they've not spotted a coil under the wiring and you've actually got one that's had a reprieve. I don't think we're going to have improved that, but let's have a look at what figure we've got now. So for 12 dB cyanide, there's our 12 mark. Let's go over to the attenuator. We've got 0.43. There you are, I fixed it worse. 0.43 microvolts. There we go. Now, of course, things can change, and I can make it anywhere around there. But there we are. That's absolutely lovely. I can't believe there was just wanted a transmitter tune up and the deviation bringing down. So somebody's been in here to fiddle with it, and they've done that. They've turned the deviation up beyond, but they've turned down the transmit. How bizarre. Right, let's go back to 100 microvolts. And let's look at where the meter is. It should be S9. It isn't. There's a special treat. We'll put it on S9. Accidentally turned the volume up. Good, that's that done. Now the squelch. So with the... I'm going to turn the attenuator down. I'm going to turn the squelch to full. And I want that attenuator to come in at 100 microvolts. So 1, 3 microvolts, 10 microvolts, 30 microvolts, 100 microvolts is exactly where it comes in. It's exactly right. It would be that preset if I needed to adjust it, but I don't. So let's see where the sensitivity is. So we'll turn the squelch down. I'm going to park the signal generator at 0.3 microvolts and switch it off. Set the threshold of the squelch on the radio. There we go. Switch the signal generator back on. Remembering it's at 0.3 of a microvolt. And see when it comes in. Oh. Well, that's disappointing. 1.2 microvolts. Let's do that test again. Turn the signal generator to standby. Set the squelch to threshold. More carefully this time. Not the best squelch in the world on these sets, but it's adequate. So do that test again. This time we've got 0.82 microvolts for it to come in and 0.76 when it drops off. So with careful manipulation we've got it about where we want. So that's good. Well, that's it, we're done. And we already know that the receive light works on this, the transmit light works on this, the meter light works on this. So you know what, I think we'll just behind the scenes I'm going to pop the front off, take the knobs off, shove them through the dishwasher and all that kind of malarkey, and we'll come back, put it back together, and we'll put it on and flick through the channels and see who's swearing at who 35 miles away. So we washed all these bits. As usual, the escutcheon, what a wonderful word for a Monday, has come away. So very carefully apply the Bostic adhesive to this, and you can see where it's been before. So we'll try and put it in the same place. What you don't want is it oozing out of all the gaps. And when we get up here, like they've done before, we'll just try and get some on that edge. It's the only adhesive we use when we want this type of thing. As you know, we use the animal glue in the organ side of things as well, and of course the white wood glue. And there's still some managed to get on the fascia. Use his t-shirt to remove it. Right, we'll put these knobs on. That was in the central position. So not only have they been washed, I've also had isopropyl alcohol on them to try and remove where those arrows were. There we are, we've got a smart looking set. So the only thing left is put the lids on Now, where did I put the speaker lid? Oh, of course, I put it in the dishwasher. But the other question is, where did I put the speaker? There. I'll just blow some of the fluff out of that. I managed to slip this out without having to fully unscrew these. Whether I'll get away with it putting it back's another question. Because the sealant's on these screws, it's quite a pain to actually take them out properly, shall we say. There, I've done it. Swing that final one round. I'll just tighten those up. Now, if we were respraying the case, we would take the screws fully out. The last thing I want is paint on screws. Bit of something left on there. So here's the moment of truth. Does the speaker actually work? So I've looked at the figures for the customers Harrier CBX that came in last week, and his sensitivity I think was 0.46 and ours is 0.43, so absolutely nothing in it really. I recall that it was easier to get 4 watts out of it than it was on this one, so I said I would tell him. I just think this has been well looked after, and then you know, I've had it harboured up for 12 years. If I looked at what I paid for it, I'm sure that prices are very different today than when I bought it off eBay in 2010. I mean, in the past I was paying, well, we had a new in a box Midland 4001, nearly new, $14.99, and on the other end, battered Fidelity 1000, 99 pence. I look on eBay today, battered Fidelity 1000, £30. Now then, our mystery free gift person has very, very kindly sent me 2 boxes that have arrived today. And you know, it's so kind of him. The first box contains a Maxcom 7E, a micronmeter multimeter, and a Bremi matcher. The second box contains a Comtron 40F, seeing a few of those, a microphone for one. Will it work? That'll be fantastic, won't it? Wouldn't that be brilliant if it worked? And a Binatone Route 66. So will it be the early version that uses the PLL02A chip and a very complex route of getting it to UK channels, or will it be the later version which uses the LC7137? We will find out. I'll book them in as if they're repairs, although they're mine to keep, and we will see. So if we can do sets every day, and we can't always, it'll be York 861 tomorrow, and then it'll be that Midland 77 900 base station, 76 900, whatever it is. And then there's in the same box there is an audio line 341, which has also had the kiss of 80 channel death. So I'm hoping I can resurrect both. It is a snag if the face lock loop chip's been ruined. I can now take the. I can't take that off yet because it says 48, so it's got the stock number on it. So we'll unplug the extension speaker. We'll plug that now into PA, except we won't plug that one into PA. We'll plug the extension speaker, which is on the wall, into PA. Switch the radio on. We're now on the roof aerial. That's so quiet you'd think the radio didn't work. 19 a Roger. I think they're all having their tea. Yes, I'm from Yorkshire, so breakfast, dinner, tea. The high power one, 200 watts. Beep! Nana Roger. Nope. Right, we'll go over to public address and we'll see how it performs on public address. I think it's going to be mic gain that's going to do the volume. Testing 1 2 3 4 5 5 4 3 2 1, and it does. So again, that's a set where PA works great and it doesn't interfere with anything else, which is excellent. Right, we'll do an on the air test later. And we'll prop the set up with the thingy cookie. What's it called? The Bench Cookie Plus. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed seeing another Harrier CBX. Not that much wrong with it, but certainly needed a service, and now it's A1.